Hello, my name is Ben Carpenter and welcome to another edition of Gridiron History. Today we're going to talk about an innovation that changed sports across the world, not just football. We've got to go back to September 30th, 1939, when the very first football game was televised. That in itself was a huge event. But we're going to go 24 years down the road to 1963 and the innovation of instant replay. There was a man by the name of Tony Verna. He was 29 years old and he was a sports producer at CBS Sports. Tony had been working on a way to replay events in a game more quickly so that we could have an instant replay. The problem was at the time was just the technology. The machines on which the tapes were made and rewound and all that sort of thing, they were big. It took a machine the size of 2 refrigerators and they carried them around in the back of a truck. And it would take 15 minutes to get a tape re-looped and aired again. Tony figured out a way to do it in 15 seconds. Now, there was a big game coming up in 1963. It was huge because in 1963 there were no Super Bowls, and one of the biggest sporting events in the country was the Army-Navy football game. Now that year, there was a lot of anticipation. Navy was number 2 in the country. Their quarterback was a guy named Roger Staubach, who went on to play for the Dallas Cowboys, was an All-Pro, a Hall of Famer, and won 2 Super Bowls with Dallas. Army had a solid squad that year too. Army's quarterback was a guy named Raleigh Steckway. Now, one of Tony Verna's concerns was that during the game, if they ran a replay, the audience might be confused, thinking the other team scored twice or something like that. So he had a conversation with Lindsey Nelson, who was the broadcaster of that game, and they kind of talked about it in case it came up to do the replay. Well, the point came where Tony Verna said, "This is it." Raleigh Steckway was down on the 1-yard line with his Army team. He plunged it across for the score, and Verna said, "Let's do the replay." It worked. 15 seconds, he had the play up, they reran it. Lindsey Nelson, just to be sure people weren't confused, he was on the television and said, "Folks, that wasn't a second score, that was just a replay of the first." Now, there was only 1 replay done in that game. They were going to do 2, but the play had been taped over a tape that contained an episode of I Love Lucy. So when they got ready to rebroadcast the play, there was Lucy's face superimposed on the football field. They said, that's not going to work, so they scrubbed it. Now, after that game, Tex Schramm, who was a bigwig in the Dallas Cowboys organization, he called Tony Verna and said, "Hey, this is great. I think you've got something here. Keep working on it." And Tony, of course, did. Now, here is a side note to this game. President John F. Kennedy loved football. He loved it. The whole family loved football. Kennedy was president at that time. But on November 22nd, 1963, Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas. The Army-Navy game was scheduled for November 30th, and Kennedy was to be in attendance for that game. They were going to postpone the game. The country was in mourning. But Jackie Kennedy, with the support of the entire Kennedy family, said, "No, Jack loved football. We need to play this game for him." So in essence, the Army-Navy game was then moved to December 7th, 1963, and became a memorial to the late President John F. Kennedy. Now, 56 years ago, Tony Verna created instant replay. Tony Verna went on to have a great career as a sports producer and director. In fact, he produced 5 Super Bowls. He produced the 1984 Olympics, and he produced the 1985 benefit concert Live Aid. He also won a number of awards. Tony Verna died January 18th, 2015, at the age of 81. Our show is not high-tech here, and I think Tony would be okay with that. But this is a picture of Tony Verna. Tony, thank you for bringing us instant replay and changing the world and the way we watch sports. Tony Verna, the inventor of instant replay. That concludes our episode for today. Hope you enjoyed it. We look forward to you on another episode of Gridiron History. Thanks for watching.